What is conformity, and why do we conform? Conformity is the tendency to change our perceptions, opinions, or behavior in ways that are consistent with the group and its norms. Many people like to think of themselves as independent and try to avoid the conformist label, but all of us are susceptible to these pressures. There are two broad categories of conformity. Private conformity includes actual changes in both overt behavior and beliefs. Long-term changes that remain after the group is gone and the target is alone. It's also known as true acceptance or conversion. Public conformity, on the other hand, includes superficial changes in only overt behavior. Private beliefs remain the same. One of the first researchers to study conformity was Muzafer Sharif. Participants sat in a dark room and were asked to estimate how far a dot of light moved on the wall. The dot wasn't actually moving, but Sharif took advantage of an optical illusion called the autokinetic effect. It occurs when a stationary point of light appears to move, sometimes erratically, in various directions, even though it isn't moving at all. When the participants made their estimations alone, they estimated a wide range of numbers. When a single participant sat in a group with Confederates who worked for Sharif, they changed their responses to more closely match those of the other people. Over several sessions or trials, their answers eventually converged upon the answer provided by the rest of the group. Solomon Asch also studied conformity. Participants in groups of 7 indicated which of 3 comparison lines, A, B, or C, matched the length of a standard line. The answer was obviously B, but the other 6 people, who were Confederates working for Asch, gave the wrong answer. How often do you think the participants conformed and also gave the wrong answer? 37% of the time. In fact, about 50% of participants conformed in at least half of the trials, while 25% conformed on an occasional basis. Since the publication of both of these studies, social psychologists have replicated their results and expanded our understanding of why we conform. Let's take a look at some of the reasons we conform to the group. One of the reasons we conform is because we have a need to be right. If we think other people are correct in their judgments, we may conform, especially when we aren't sure or don't know. This is called informational influence, the power to impact others through information. Consider the show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? If a contestant doesn't know the answer to a question, they can call a friend, and they usually call someone who has the knowledge they need to win. This type of influence usually results in private conformity. Recall that Sharif used an ambiguous task, so others provided a source of information and influenced the participants' true opinions. Another reason we conform is because of our fear of social rejection. If we think other people won't like us or will be mad at us, we may conform. This is called normative influence, the power to impact people through peer pressure, because they fear the consequences of appearing deviant. Social rejection can lead to various types of emotional distress. In fact, the pain associated with rejection can feel like physical pain. This type of influence usually results in only public conformity as we make superficial changes to fit in. Unlike Sharif, Asch used a task that required simple judgments of a clear stimulus, so most participants only exhibited occasional public conformity in response to normative pressure. Privately, they did not accept the group's judgment. After comparing the results from Sharif's and Asch's studies, social psychologists discovered an important piece of the puzzle: motivation. When we're not motivated, we tend to display a moderate level of conformity across easy and difficult tasks. When we are highly motivated and completing an easy task, we display a low level of conformity. But when we're highly motivated and completing a difficult task, we conform. In the next section, you'll continue learning about conformity by exploring some of the social factors that lead us to conform,